I often get asked, what's more important, production or potential when looking at a draft prospect? And everybody automatically goes to, well, it's production, of course. Look, they both matter. That's why you have them. If you draft only on production, you may become a good team, but odds are that you will never get over the top unless you have a few good years of picking near the top of the draft, that the elite players can fall into your lap. You can get good players, but you never have enough blue chip guys to get to the championship. I'm going to tell you a little bit about some stories about who's been successful with production potential and who's been flops. But want to remind you to like and follow us here if you want more insights into the NFL draft philosophy, understanding what goes on inside the draft room, even some great draft room stories. Like and follow us right here. So you got to find a happy medium and take risks, but calculated risks. For example, on production alone in 1981, as good as Hugh Green was, and what a great career he had better production than Lawrence Taylor did at North Carolina. Lawrence Taylor had a better workout. Now, Lawrence Taylor had good production, though. You can't have a guy that's just a workout guy and doesn't have production. Lawrence Taylor had production. Hugh Green had better production. Lawrence Taylor had more explosive traits that were unearthed in the workouts. Understand that and know that. Hugh Green was an outstanding player in the NFL. Lawrence Taylor, best defensive player that we've ever seen in this league to this point. Some productive busts. These are guys that were productive, really productive, but were not very good. Russell Maryland, drafted very high by the Cowboys, who were drafting very well under Jimmy Johnson. Miami guy, loved his production, was a so-so guy there. How about Andre Collins, the linebacker out of Penn State, that ended up not being nearly as good a player when the Bengals took him as he was in college. Paul Palmer was a great running back at Temple. Great production. Level of comp was an issue. Decent player, bounced around, had a decent career, but certainly not a great player. How about Mike Junkin, the Duke linebacker? Great production off the charts. Yeah, Browns and Ernie Accorsi thought they were smarter than everybody. They got in the supplemental draft basically a guy that never amounted to anything. How about Iowa quarterback Chuck Long? Had a great career at Iowa. Went on to become a really good coach. Very productive. Not that good of a quarterback at the NFL level. Then you've got guys who were productive and had really good successes. And so they're good examples of guys lacking in elite traits, but still productive. Marcus Allen didn't have great times. Great player. Jim McMahon was not a great not a great numbers guy, workout number guy, but really productive. Bernie Kosar, good players, lacking in elite traits. How about some guys that had potential but were bust because of their potential because they didn't have enough production? The Falcons were famous for that under Ken Herrock. They drafted Bruce Pickens of Nebraska, number 1, a bust. They drafted Andre Bruce, outside linebacker, out of Auburn, a bust. The Rams drafted a tackle off of the workout out of Queens College in Canada, Mike Shadd. Not very good. John Hann was a guy that had some production at Alabama, but not nearly as much as the potential thought he should be a much better player. Just not that productive of a player. Michael Haddock's a running back, and Mike Mamula of Boston College. Michael Haddock's of Southern Miss. Eagles bust that they had. The Giants drafted Eric Moore out of Indiana. Lots of potential, not much production. John Theory, outside linebacker out of Alcorn State that the Bears took, not all that productive. The Cowboys drafted a corner, thought they were smarter than everybody else. Rod Hill on his workout from Kentucky State, not a very good player. Dan Wilkerson was a guy that had a lot of potential. very obviously high pick by the Bengals, didn't work out very well. Nebraska tight end Johnny Mitchell was another example of a guy that had potential but was a bust. Then you could look at guys that had potential that didn't have as much production but ended up being much better players based on potential. Houston linebacker Lamar Lathan was drafted by the Oilers. Really good. Um, Franco Harris. I talked about in another clip I did. Franco Harris was not nearly as productive as Robert Newhouse was at Houston. Franco Harris had better workout, had better upside, and was a better, more productive running back than Robert Newhouse in the NFL. Eric Swan, potential, played no college ball, was outstanding with the Cardinals for some time. Neil Smith, the defensive end out in Nebraska. The Chiefs took him mainly on potential. Very, very good player. Anthony Miller, Tennessee speedy receiver. Very productive. Eric Turner, the safety out of UCLA with the Browns, very good player. What about Andy Heck? Great workout at Notre Dame. Had some production. Really good player for Seattle. And then Mark Gastineau out of East Central Oklahoma. Another guy that ended up being a great pass rusher on that great sack exchange group, but East Central Oklahoma mainly on his workout. So you can see you have some potential successes, guys with potential that are failures. You have some guys that are highly productive but failures. You have guys that are highly productive but are bust. We could go through a number of other guys that were really productive. Danny Werfel was a great college quarterback. In his own right, Tim Tebow was a great college quarterback. Productive, guys off the charts, not very good players in the NFL. So you have to understand what the upside potential is and what is the key to success athletically. And does the guy have the traits to do it? And does he have the makeup to do it? That's the real key. So when people say, what's more important, potential or production? The answer is yes. They're both important. And understanding the difference and understanding the whys are the key to having success in making those type of decisions come draft day.